Today, you are about to step into a side of Las Vegas that almost no one is meant to see. Not the city of bright lights, jackpots, and celebration, but a hidden reality buried beneath all of it. By the end of this story, you will understand how people disappear without leaving the city, why some are never seen on the surface again, and how an entire world exists below, ruled by laws that most of us would never survive for even a single day. Las Vegas sells a dream: neon lights, luxury hotels, endless entertainment, and the promise that anything is possible. Millions come here chasing excitement, fortune, and escape. But while all eyes are drawn upward, very few ever think to look down. Beneath the pavement, beneath the casinos and streets, something else has been growing for decades. Hidden under the city lies a massive underground labyrinth, nearly 200 miles of tunnels carved deep beneath the desert. What began as infrastructure slowly transformed into a shadow city, a place where people, forgotten by society, carved out lives in complete darkness. Many refer to them as the mole people, but labels fail to capture what life down here truly does to a human being. Living without sunlight for years changes everything. The darkness reshapes perception, behavior, and identity. Time loses meaning. The mind adapts in ways it was never meant to. Meeting someone who has lived far from daylight for too long feels unpredictable, almost unsettling. These tunnels reach as deep as 7 floors below the city, far enough that the surface world feels like another planet. Down here, light disappears, and color fades with it. Faces grow pale, nearly gray. Some people living in this underground world have not seen the sun in years, and some never will. Above them, Las Vegas continues to shine, alive with music, money, and excess. Millions walk these streets every year, completely unaware that entire lives are unfolding directly beneath their feet. Endless darkness slowly alters the human mind. Fear becomes familiar. Extreme situations become routine. People are hurt, vanish, and are gone before the surface world even notices. Some residents were born into this underground life and never experienced anything else. Many have no identification, no official record, choosing to remain hidden from a system that has already abandoned them. Even basic communication tools fail down here, cutting this world off completely. What exists beneath the city is not chaos. It is organized, layered, and structured. Maps reveal a vast tunnel network where around 1,500 people struggle to survive. Sections function like neighborhoods, each with its own rules, boundaries, and unspoken dangers. On the surface, almost no one understands what is happening below, and that ignorance allows this world to continue unseen. We are about to descend into a connected maze where entire lives unfold in darkness. Entering this world means accepting constant uncertainty. Emergencies happen without warning. Survival depends on timing, awareness, and experience. Without guidance from someone who has lived here for years, stepping inside would be reckless. The tunnels do not forgive mistakes. Many entrances are sealed with heavy metal barriers, designed to block access and protect against floods. Flooding is the most dangerous force underground. Sudden surges of water have swept through these passages before, leaving devastation behind. The desert ground above is too hard to absorb rain, forcing stormwater directly into the tunnels where people live. These tunnels were built to protect the streets above, not the lives below. When rain falls, water races through the underground corridors like a powerful current. Even a storm far away can trigger deadly floods within minutes. Each time it happens, lives are lost in this unseen city, with little warning and no mercy. Trash fills the tunnels, carried by water or left behind by survival. Some refuse to go deeper, sensing that something worse waits ahead. The passages narrow as they descend, forcing people to crawl through suffocating spaces. Hidden chambers branch off into places no one can see, places where anything could be happening, unnoticed. Down here, life feels fragile. Every step matters. Every decision carries weight. Survival is the only rule that applies. Those who live deepest have faced conditions most people cannot imagine. Danger appears without warning. Crossing into the wrong space can mean losing everything. The darkness presses in from all sides, heavy and consuming, erasing sound, memory, and identity. And this is only the beginning of what waits beneath Las Vegas. If someone truly understands this underground system, they can disappear into it completely. It is possible to move through these tunnels endlessly without ever returning to the surface. Every corridor leads to another. Every passage connects. What seems like chaos is, in reality, a living network with its own logic, its own rules, and its own invisible borders. To someone from above, this may not look like a place where people could live, but down here, stepping into the wrong space without warning can instantly put your life at risk. Danger is constant, even when nothing appears to be happening. You feel it before you see it. Above, the city never stops moving. You can hear engines roaring, tires rolling, the deep vibration of traffic that never sleeps. Cars speed by directly overhead, unaware that people are surviving just inches beneath the pavement. In rare moments, sunlight slips through metal grates. For a brief second, the city reveals itself, a flash of brightness, a reminder of a life still happening above. A life these people can no longer touch, only watch from below. From underground, the surface feels unreal, like a carefully crafted illusion. Just a few steps forward, and massive hotels come into view through steel barriers. Towers of light and luxury rise above. Above, casinos generate billions year after year. Below, human beings exist in spaces never designed for life. Water drips endlessly from concrete ceilings. The ground stays wet. The air feels heavy. Even when the city hasn't seen rain in weeks, moisture never truly leaves this place. The smell hits next. Thick, stagnant, unavoidable. In certain tunnels, runoff from the city's drainage system flows directly across the floor. With no alternatives, some people use this water to clean themselves. There is no comfort here, only necessity. The tunnel system stretches farther than most can imagine. Without a guide, entering alone would be reckless. One wrong turn is enough to become disoriented, enough to disappear. Along the walls, small markers remain, notes left behind, simple crosses, quiet evidence that someone entered and never came back out. Bicycles are everywhere, leaning against walls, taken apart and rebuilt again and again. Down here, a bike is not a convenience. It is survival. It is the difference between reaching safety and being stranded. Without one, movement becomes slow, exhausting, and dangerous. Walking long distances through these tunnels feels endless. Time stretches unnaturally. Distance loses meaning. Every step feels heavier than the last. Some who have lived here long enough no longer rely on light at all. No flashlights, no tools, only memory and touch. Hands slide along cold concrete walls, counting turns, recognizing textures. Every curve, every slope is memorized. Each tunnel becomes familiar, predictable. It becomes home. In that darkness, hearing a voice echo through the passage can stop everything. Sound behaves differently here. It travels farther, feels closer, more intimate, more threatening. What looks disturbing to outsiders is, for some, the only place they feel safe. Low ceilings, damp walls, corners filled with salvaged items. At first glance, it seems like disorder, but nothing is random. Every object has a purpose. Every item has been placed deliberately. This is not clutter. It is survival, carefully arranged. There was a time when this underground world felt different, when people watched out for one another, when there was a fragile sense of community built on shared hardship. That feeling has slowly disappeared. Now, distrust is common. Intimidation is frequent. Self-preservation outweighs cooperation. Small acts of carelessness carry massive consequences. A single fire once spread through the tunnels, nearly destroying the only living companion someone had left. Down here, even brief moments of cruelty can leave scars that never fade. And the deeper you go, the more you realize this place is not just beneath the city. It exists in its shadow, forgotten, ignored, growing quietly, while life above continues as if none of this exists. 5 days later, she was still holding on, against all odds, still breathing, still alive. In this underground world, survival is never promised. Not for people, not even for the smallest companion. Every extra day feels borrowed, as if the tunnels could reclaim it at any moment. Life down here reduces existence to its rawest form. Everything unnecessary disappears. What remains are the basics. Designated corners serve purposes no one likes to talk about, often nothing more than a plastic-lined bucket hidden in the dark. Privacy does not exist. Dignity erodes quickly. Thoughts about the future feel distant and unrealistic. Some imagine themselves still here years from now, though the hope is fragile and fading. Time moves differently underground. Days blur together. Aging feels faster when hope becomes scarce. After guiding us deeper for several minutes, it was time to turn back. Supplies were left behind, enough to last only a short while. Then we continued forward, moving deeper into uncertainty. In these tunnels, anything can happen without warning. Someone can appear from the darkness, take what you have, and vanish without a trace. There are no witnesses, no fast help, no sirens. Down here, events unfold unnoticed, swallowed by concrete, distance, and shadow. This underground world is built on uncertainty. Calm is temporary. Silence is misleading. One moment can feel quiet, almost safe. Return hours later, and everything may have shifted. The deeper we move, the less predictable the path becomes. Survival demands constant adaptation. Tools are improvised from scraps. Cooking equipment is shaped from discarded metal. Even warmth and food come with risk. Every decision carries consequences. Life underground is never truly empty. Rats move freely through the tunnels, sharing the same narrow spaces. Sounds echo ahead, distorted by walls and distance, pulling attention deeper into the maze. Some people arrived here by accident, led underground by a chain of personal decisions that slowly closed every other door. Over time, this hidden world stopped feeling temporary. It became their community, their reality. Living here means focusing only on the present moment. Planning beyond today feels impossible. The hardest challenges are often the simplest ones. No plumbing, no light, no escape from the darkness. Sitting alone in complete blackness can trigger fear even in adults. The darkness feels active, almost alive. It presses in heavy and suffocating, slowly erasing any connection to the outside world. Survival often depends on what can be taken or found. Some search through discarded materials, collecting anything with value. Others rely on what visitors above ground abandon without a second thought. Luxury items, once symbols of status, are left behind during moments of distraction. Above ground, money flows freely and disappears just as fast. Below, every object matters. Every item tells a story. Excess and indulgence define the surface world. It is part of the illusion that draws people here. Meanwhile, beneath the city, others have lived for years watching that lifestyle from below, separated by concrete, distance, and fate. Two worlds existing at the same time, never truly touching. From the shadows, another presence begins to emerge. Someone shaped by years underground, by darkness, by isolation. A life molded by the tunnels themselves. And with it comes another story, waiting to be uncovered in the depths below. When rain arrives, this place transforms into a nightmare. Not slowly, not gently. In a matter of minutes, the tunnels become unpredictable, violent, and unforgiving. Water turns familiar paths into traps. Those who have lived through these moments remember the panic, the confusion, and the realization that escape may not be possible this time. Storms reveal the truth about this city. Above ground, everything appears polished, bright, and perfectly designed. But much of it is only an illusion. The massive casinos are not built on success stories. They are built on loss, desperation, and broken hopes. Nothing underground is permanent. Not safety, not shelter, not people. Living spaces constantly shift, forced to move by floods, conflicts, or sudden danger. Staying in one place for too long is rarely an option. When asked what weighs the heaviest down here, the answer comes without hesitation. The people. Years of disappointment, betrayal, and exhaustion collapse into that single word. Even this deep below the surface, debris is everywhere. Some of it dragged in by floods. Some pushed through the tunnels in shopping carts, carrying the remains of lives that once existed above ground. After moving deeper for what feels like an endless stretch of time, a long shadow suddenly stretches across the tunnel wall. The tension is immediate. Every muscle tightens. Every step forward feels uncertain. The deeper you go, the more alert you become. Darkness sharpens every sound, every movement. Footsteps echo longer than expected. Breathing feels louder. Silence itself feels threatening. We keep moving. Trash lines. The path, layered and soaked from years of neglect. Supplies are shared where possible, passed hand to hand with quiet understanding. Eventually, we are invited into a small shelter carved into the tunnel walls. This is where someone sleeps, where clothes are kept dry when possible, where a single flat surface becomes a table. a workspace, and a place to organize an entire life. Years ago, life above ground unraveled piece by piece. One loss followed another, until the tunnels became the only place left to go. Living here means learning how to survive with whatever is available. Water is collected wherever it can be found, regardless of quality. Food comes from assistance when possible, and from other means when necessary. Choices are rarely easy. Safety is never guaranteed. Down here, survival depends on awareness, watching every direction, listening for unfamiliar sounds, trusting no moment completely. This underground world does not offer comfort, it offers endurance. Every day is about making it through the next hour, not the next week, not the next year, just the next hour. The tunnels demand constant attention, patience, and vigilance. One wrong decision, one moment of distraction, one storm in the distance, and everything can change without warning. Down here, survival is not heroic. It is quiet, relentless, and always temporary. Scars tell stories down here, not stories meant to be shared, but ones etched permanently into skin and memory. Every mark is a reminder of a moment that never truly ends. Injuries happen for reasons that would feel absurd above ground. Down here, even something as ordinary as a bicycle can become the turning point of a life. Bikes are not a luxury. They are survival. They mean movement, escape, access to food, and a chance to stay ahead of danger. Losing one can strip away safety in an instant. Many people here have witnessed moments no one should ever have to see. Sounds echo through the tunnels, sharp and unmistakable. A sudden noise, a raised voice, a split second where everything changes. In moments like these, lives are altered forever. The darkness makes these experiences heavier, harder to process, harder to forget. Living underground reshapes the mind in ways that are impossible to fully explain. Some people simply cannot endure it. There are those who have not seen daylight for years, and some who never will again. The absence of light changes the body itself. Faces lose color, eyes dull. People slowly fade into the shadows around them. At night, the tunnels begin to feel alive. The senses stop working the way they should. Footsteps seem close, just beyond sight. Voices appear and vanish without warning. When you step out to look, there is nothing there. No one, just darkness. Uncertainty becomes constant. Every sound carries meaning. Every silence feels dangerous. You never know who or what you might encounter next. In this darkness, many lose their identification and never recover it. A card lost to water, theft, or time. Without it, doors close completely. No work, no housing, no access to help. On paper, they no longer exist. It becomes a wall that feels impossible to climb. And yet, the truth is more complicated. Even if every document were magically restored overnight, the struggle would still remain. Trauma does not disappear. Mental strain does not reset. Years spent in survival mode reshape how a person thinks, reacts, and trusts. Extended time in these conditions changes how people respond to the world. Shocking scenes stop feeling shocking. Extreme situations blend into the background. The mind adapts because it has no other choice. What once would have caused fear slowly turns into numbness. This is how people survive here, not by overcoming the darkness, but by becoming used to it. Some of the people living here once had stable lives, houses, jobs, comfort, even luxury. Over time, circumstances shifted. Retirement came. Support systems faded. One event followed another. And eventually, the tunnels became the final stop. Technology that works flawlessly above ground fails below. Radios cut out. Signals disappear. Communication breaks down. Isolation deepens. That silence draws people further into the darkness until the surface world feels distant and unreal. Years pass underground. 8, 9, sometimes more. Time loses shape down here. Among all the dangers, flooding remains the most feared. Water can rise with terrifying speed, filling tunnels in minutes. There are no alarms, no warning systems. The only signal is the sound itself. Water rushing closer, louder, faster. And by the time you hear it, escape may already be impossible. Old markings remain on the walls, left behind as warnings, proof that the current always wins. Over the years, many lives have been lost. Sometimes the hardest loss is not life itself, but everything built over time. Shelters, belongings, memories, all erased in moments. Not long after one such story was shared, word arrived that another life underground had quietly come to an end. As we move forward, the tunnel's ceiling catches the light. Mineral streaks trace the path of water seeping through the concrete above, evidence that rain always finds its way down. Again and again, each mark tells the same story. Floods return, shelters are destroyed, lives are erased. Ahead, a small memorial comes into view. Simple, silent, a heart, a few flowers placed carefully in the dark, a reminder of someone who did not escape in time. When floods come, there are only minutes to get out. Miss that narrow window, and the tunnels make the decision for you. If the rushing water or floating debris does not break people first, the tunnels find other ways to do it. The ground is never truly dry. Puddles stretch endlessly through the passage, reflecting nothing but darkness. A cold draft moves constantly, crawling along the walls and into the bones. With every step forward, the surface beneath feels unstable, uncertain. The floor is a thick mixture of runoff, trash, and waste, soaking into everything that touches it. There is no clean path, no safe route. You keep moving because stopping means giving in. Garbage is everywhere, layers of it. Remnants of the city above drift down and decay here, slowly dissolving into the tunnel floor. Even animals struggle to survive in these conditions. The moisture never leaves. Shoes stay soaked, skin stays cold. The smell clings to everything. And yet, the journey continues because the goal lies deeper. Somewhere ahead is someone who has managed to survive underground for more than a decade. That alone feels impossible. As we move farther in, the gray, mold-covered walls begin to change. The darkness breaks in an unexpected way. Color appears where it should not exist. Shapes form. Suddenly, the tunnel opens into something unreal. An underground art space. A gallery built in complete darkness. Paintings, sculptures, and expressions created far below the surface. Proof that even here, creativity survives. But it is fragile. One heavy rain, one sudden flood, and all of it could be erased in minutes. This section of the tunnel is carefully arranged using salvaged materials. Nothing new, nothing untouched. Broken objects from the surface are repurposed and given new meaning. A stroller, bags, toys, each item placed deliberately. Everything has a purpose. Nothing is accidental. This is where one man's entire world begins and ends. Years ago, he arrived with almost nothing. What little he had was taken. His documents vanished. His identity disappeared. All that remained was the tunnel. Safety does not exist here. Theft comes from every direction. Trust is dangerous. Authority offers no protection. Life underground is defined by constant displacement. This land belongs to no one, yet everyone is punished for occupying it. Flood zones, restricted areas, invisible boundaries, rules that change without warning. Detention becomes routine. People here are labeled as unwanted, pushed out of every visible space, erased from sight. Despite how the world sees him, he is exhausted by the judgment. Over time, he learned to adapt. Food is scavenged wherever possible. Water is collected from whatever source exists, even when it is unsafe. Everything around him was pulled from discarded piles. Nothing was given freely. Every object here represents effort, risk, and survival. Basic hygiene is reduced to its simplest form. Buckets replace bathrooms. Privacy disappears completely. The body carries marks from the past. Some injuries are barely remembered. Trauma erases details, leaving only the consequences behind. The scars remain, even when the memories fade. Long-term isolation changes perception. In complete darkness, the mind fills the emptiness on its own. Shapes seem to move without explanation. Sounds imitate voices. Objects shift when no one is there. The tunnels begin to feel alive, watching, responding. In total blackness, fear takes form. The temperature drops suddenly. A presence is felt without proof. And the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to separate reality from imagination. Thoughts about the future feel pointless here. Planning years ahead feels unrealistic, almost foolish. Most people live moment to moment, focused only on the next hour. Survival replaces ambition. The tunnels themselves take on identities, shaped by the people who remain inside them, by their stories, their fears, their losses. Needles line the ground. Decay surrounds every step. This place does not resemble life as most people understand it. Connections to family slowly fade. Communication stops. Questions remain unanswered. Before this existence, there were families, children, ordinary routines. Now, everything exists within concrete walls, endless darkness, and time that no longer moves forward. Once, there was a family, a real one, two sons and a daughter. Not a statistic, not a story meant for sympathy, just a family that once existed together. They still live somewhere above ground. One of the boys recently turned 17. The last time they saw each other was 10 years ago. A decade passed, childhood ended, life moved forward, but the distance never closed. It only grew wider, year after year, silence replacing connection. When asked about the hardest moment underground, the answer does not come with anger or shock. It comes quietly. Someone lost their life right here, in this exact spot. It happened the night before. Down here, time does not pause for tragedy. Moments like this are not rare. They blend into the rhythm of the tunnels. Life feels fragile, short, easily erased, as if it can vanish without leaving a trace. What happens beneath the city is not separate from the world above. It is deeply connected to it. Nearly 7 out of 10 people in this country live one paycheck away from collapse. For many, it takes only a single unexpected moment to lose everything. One medical bill, one missed payment, one wrong decision, one event no one planned for, and suddenly, the surface world disappears, replaced by survival. Standing underground, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. Through layers of metal and concrete, the glowing skyline is still visible. Towers of light rise above. Luxury, excess, endless spending. All of it exists just feet away from people fighting to survive in darkness. Two worlds stacked on top of each other. One celebrated, one ignored, completely disconnected, yet separated by only a few feet of concrete. These tunnels are not just about homelessness. They are about how thin the line really is, how fragile stability can be, how quickly a normal life can unravel, how easily someone can fall through the cracks and never find a way back out. This is not a distant problem. It is closer than most people want to believe. What you have just seen is only a fraction of what exists below the surface. Countless stories remain untold. Lives continue unseen, unheard, unnoticed. Questions linger that are uncomfortable to ask. Questions about systems, priorities, and what society chooses to look away from. If this story made you stop for a moment, if it stayed with you longer than you expected, don't scroll past it. Don't forget it. Share what you felt. Write what you're thinking in the comments. And if you want to keep seeing stories that expose what is hidden in plain sight, make sure you subscribe and stay here. Because the darkness beneath the city is real, and pretending it doesn't exist won't make it disappear.